Hello, this video we're going to do an overview of your chart, your BG5 career design chart. Uh, we're going to get into the details. However, before we go into the nitty gritty, we're going to just look at the overall, what are we looking at? So then we can go drill down into more details. Your chart's going to look like this with a bunch of numbers, which are aligned with the 64 codons of your DNA. You have 64 codons of DNA, and there's 6 lines within each of the codons. And so what you're looking at is how your mind is mapped out in each of the different parts of your body. So each of these shapes in your body graph, correlate with a part of your mind and how your mind is mapped out in that part of your body. So we'll get into it. The first thing you're going to see is your career type. There's 4 career types, okay? And in this PDF, I have an overview of each of these types, and we'll get into that. So the first thing you'll see on your chart is all these letters, and in this guide, it shows you what they stand for. So your core essence is E on your conscious side on the right and the unconscious side on the left. Grounding and balance, which is the earth energy, is G. Driving force, future direction and environment, past direction and environment, communication and thinking. And so how you communicate has a frequency and a DNA band, which you can look up what that is, like on your conscious communication, look up that number, like in this person, for example, it's 54.4, and you can see what it is that you're designed to communicate about. And that can help with your niche and your marketing and what you say and who you talk to and what you're consistently talking about and speaking into. Your values is V, maturing energy, personal law and protection, judgment, judge and discipline, uniqueness, what makes you unique and unusual, what's hidden from you, and what's going to create some transformation. And the conscious and unconscious, so the black lines represent your conscious mind. The red lines represent your unconscious mind, which is more what is happening in your body. And then in this chart, what you're looking at is, what do these life aspects mean? So for example, your core essence, what you're looking at is essentially 70% of your essence of who you are is in your core essence. It represents how you present yourself to the world. And then it goes through each of those, what they represent. Okay, so it's a cute little kind of overview of which BG5 doesn't actually have any guides or anything like that. So that's why I've created this. Um, let's go first before we go into the functions. I want to just show you the career types because this is how you're designed to work. And when I found out that I was an advisor, it was so enlightening. It was such a breakthrough. It just made me feel so seen. And I had created a world where I was living as a builder because the world is 70% builders. And so us that are not builders and express builders, we are living in a builder's world. And I was happy to find out that there was nothing wrong with me. I just didn't realize that I had been so conditioned to be a builder when I was an advisor. And I had built my businesses and everything just to be a builder, to do the work versus advise people on how to do the work. And so there's there's these types. There's this initiator that is about 10% of the population that are designed to get things started. So you're the only type, this is the only type that's actually designed to actually initiate things, whereas the other types were not designed to initiate. Initiators are the catalysts to go and just get it done. You don't need any prompt, you don't need any invitation, you just go and do it. But how you interact, how an initiator creates the most success in taking the initiation is just informing other people before they do their initiation, before they initiate something. They don't have to ask for permission, but they do just basically share what they're doing. And then each person has a very unique way of kind of going through all these different key indicators. But for initiators, you really want to feel peace to be in alignment. And when you're out of alignment, you have a lot of anger. And so all of these other things, like your public role, is going to be very individual to you. This is kind of a more of an overview of initiator type. And then I'll go through the other types, but this is just an overview. And so the builders make up about 70% of the population, with between the builder and then the express builder. The builder wants to go A, B, C, do things in order. The express builder wants to go faster and skip steps, which you're able to do, and do it very well and balance multiple things at the same time. So the builder is here to work in ways that are satisfying and sustainable, and to do things that you love and you're passionate about, and you can be very consistent with that energy creation because you have this literal battery to do sustained work. And the interaction style of the builder is to engage with other people by responding to things. What that means is that you have this energy which draws people in like a magnet, and then you will respond to opportunities that come to you that you draw in. So you attract these things through your energetic magnetic pull, and then you respond. And usually it's a process of waiting to respond. You can say, let me think about that, which you guys are the ones who literally need to think about it. And your interaction style is to respond rather than initiate. So the key indicator for you of what you're looking for in this life is you want to be satisfied. You want to experience the feeling of satisfaction. And when you're out of alignment, you're going to be feeling a lot of frustration. So if you're doing work that's not in alignment with you, you're just going to live in a constant state of frustration. Okay, and then the express builders are basically a builder, but with this intense, fast-moving energy. It's you can juggle multiple things at the same time and skip steps, move quickly, shift projects, shift focus, have multiple talents, multiple passions. I'd be doing them all at the same time. I mean, you can look at Justin Bieber, for example. He's got his singing career, and he's a skateboarder, and he's a dancer, and he's creating um, all these different companies. He's got like a Skylark, which is like sunglasses and sandals, and then he has some other smiley face company, which I forget what it's called, Drew House. He's an express builder, so he's building multiple things all at the same time. He's passionate about all of them, and he can move very, very fast doing them. Um, Yeah, so that's the kind of the variation of the express and the regular builder. And then we have the advisor, that's about 20, 21% of the population. And we, as the advisors, are here to guide the others. We are, we're guides. We have a very specific kind of energy, which we work directly one-on-one with people, and we can see through people. And so our energy can be very intense, and uh, we are designed to thus wait for an invitation and not just give unwelcomed advice, which I used to do a lot um, in my unawareness of just giving all this advice and then not being asked for it. And then people were like, I didn't actually want that. And then I would be better because I gave this great advice, but it was unwelcomed. So our indicator or our decision making strategy is essentially to just wait for an invitation and recognition, and then the correct opportunities will come in when our insight is seen and valued. And that doesn't necessarily mean don't do anything but just wait. It just means that we are preparing and creating a business and a lifestyle around being an advisor for our guidance, and then opportunities will come in. We will attract the right opportunities when people start to see us for our guidance. And advisors want to be feeling success and recognition for our guidance. And when we're out of alignment, we just feel bitter, just a bad taste in our mouth when we feel overlooked or unrecognized. So advisors are very unique in the sense that we don't have this battery like the builders do. And so we are designed to just guide and not do intense work. We need a lot of rest. And the advisors and the builders are specifically designed to work together and to make your life work and your life purpose come together by working together. It's a very symbiotic, beautiful relationship that's necessary for builders to fulfill their purpose and advisors to fulfill theirs. And then we have a very rare type, only 1% of the population, which is an evaluator. And evaluators just reflect the health of the environment with the people around them. They're like mirrors. So they're basically telling us how we're doing along the way. They're evaluating us. Like I did a team when I became a trainer of NLP. They had a team of evaluators who, when we were giving a presentation and talking in front of the group and doing our speeches, to be a trainer, we had evaluators. We had two evaluators giving us notes, telling us how we were doing, what we're doing good, what we're doing, what we needed to improve. The feedback sandwich. This was great. This wasn't so great. And then ending with overall, it was great. And yeah, they evaluated the whole process through. We had lots of evaluators. So evaluators, they're just observant. They're here to kind of check in with the environment and get a sense and reflect the health back to us of how we're doing. And evaluators are very slow in their process of understanding things, and so they need to wait a full month before making major decisions. And so it's kind of like this monthly cycle following the moon, um, just like the Jewish calendar. So okay, so those are the four types. And then we'll go into these functions. So these functions correlate with different parts of your body. So your drive and your stamina, that's your adrenaline, and then your energy resource, that's like your battery and your ability to go. Your spleen is your survival instinct, your instinctive awareness, your emotional intelligence, um, your willpower and your heart, your identity center, your communication, how you speak and your expression, and your conceptualization is the front of your brain, and then the head is like the gray matter of your brain. And those are the functions, the 9 functions and the centers of your body in your graph of what you're looking at. So if you have it defined and colored in, what that means is that that is your true nature, your energy that you can rely on. And if it's open, it's more of an area of wisdom and where you absorb the energy of others. And it's also where you profit from your design. So it's essentially it has these receptors where you are drawing in the other from what you don't have. You have openness, and so you're attracting the opposite. And where our conditioning comes in is in our open centers or our open functions, where we've been our whole life conditioned to try to be this not self version of ourselves, to try to be a better not self version of this openness that we have. And when we can look at this chart and see, oh, I'm open there, I'm just absorbing everyone else's energy, everyone else's emotions, everyone else's willpower, everyone else's thoughts if we have an open mind. So it just shows you where you're susceptible to everybody else's stuff and where you need to kind of retract and just realize like, oh, that is their stuff. This is not my stuff. And um, where you have definition, it's actually reliable form of energy. It's how you're designed to function. It's what you give to others. It's what you broadcast. It's reliable, consistent energy. So your defined functions, that's what's like defining your career type and your strengths. So where you have a strength is where you have one side of the DNA codon and the other, and that creates this channel and a strength which makes each side defined. So on this person, they have the throat defined and their emotional intelligence defined, and it creates this strength through those traits. All right, let's go back up to the overview. So we went through the types, the interaction styles, the decision making, the indicators. How you assimilate is essentially how you are taking in information and then how do you assimilate it? How do you incorporate it into your life? Some people are individual and so they can just go and be by themselves. They don't need to collab. This person needs to collaborate. So they need another person to kind of go back and forth and come up with ideas and just assimilate. And then there's other people that need to assimilate in different environments and kind of pick up and assimilate over time. And your public role is they essentially, after the decimal on your conscious and your unconscious on these lines there. So it's the 0.1 there and the 0.3. So these are always going to be the same decimal in the top two, the core essence and the grounding and balance. So it's 0.1 and then 0.3. And that's what creates your public role. This person is an authority pioneer. And the conscious side always comes first. So consciously, this person is an authority figure. And then unconsciously, they're a pioneer. So there's a lot of trial and error. And then your life work is composed of these four traits there. So you can look these up online, Chat GPT, Claude, whatever AI you use, and start to understand your conscious and your unconscious core essence, grounding and balance. Your essentially it's the sun, um, this conscious energy there, and the earth is the grounding, what grounds you, the sun and the earth, and that's what creates your life work. So these four together, consciously and unconsciously, and you are looking at probably 80% of your design. And these all these other traits come into play 100%. But these ones are kind of the main theme of your life work, which are going to be more in the forefront. All right, so a little bit longer than I expected to go on this, but for your overview, we're going to stop there. And then we'll start getting into some more details of each of the individual types, and then how you can start to understand what it means to be in your public role and how to market from your public role and how you can start to incorporate this into your life. So cheers until the next video.